Once again, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for watching our Awaken to Yoga series. I know you all have been such a great, and it's been a great encouragement when you write to all of us saying that you love the Awaken to Yoga series with us. We, of course, have with us our lovely, lovely guest and my dear friend, yoga teacher, Deepa. Hi, Deepa. Once again, welcome to yet another
Okay.
episode. Namaste. Welcome to yet another episode of Awaken to Yoga series, and we are on
Thank you, Ash.
happy to have you, and we are on the eighth episode of this
Yes.
Awaken to Yoga series with the seventh limb of Maharishi Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, which is Dhyana. The word dhyana has been such an important part of my life, and today I thought let us hear it as from a yogic perspective from Deepa. So here I'm going to talk about this amazing limb. So Deepa, I'll tell you my experience with dhyana. Dhyana for me, it's
Hmm.
always been meditation. For the past almost 7 years as a Reiki practitioner and 6 years as a Reiki master, dhyana or meditation has become a very integral part of my life. Somewhere my spiritual journey began somewhere around 2012-13, and I realized that by the end of towards 2014, I initially began with 10 minutes and 15 minutes of meditation, slowly graduating to 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and a lot of practice, of course, as taught by my teacher and all of that. And I realized that I always began with pratyahara, dharana, and then getting into an advanced dhyana. But as I started learning Awaken to Yoga series with you, I realized that although I'm an advanced meditator, I'm not an advanced practitioner of asana and pranayama. So I always, because I used to always think, okay, meditation is one part of it, asana is a different part. But now when I'm connecting all the dots, we've been discussing all these eight limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, and I realized that, hang on, although I'm a meditation, I've been doing meditations, I've been doing advanced meditations, I have been a meditation teacher for the past 4 years, but I'm not an advanced asana
Hmm.
or a pranayama practitioner. So I want to today ask you so that all our viewers, my students, all our wonderful clients, and all the people who are watching us, they know this connection. And from a yogic perspective, if you could please enlighten us on this, on dhyana, we would be highly obliged. So over to you. I'm handing it over to you. Happy to hear and learn from you, Deepa. Over to you.
Thank you, Ash. It's a very good question because everybody thinks that dhyana is something that you achieve after following all these steps, then you come to dhyana. But it's not like that.
Hmm, hmm.
Practically, it's not like that. I know many people who have no foundation of yogic asanas, but they are naturally very meditative by nature. They can sit down and go into deep meditation, slip into deep meditation very spontaneously. So it's not such a linear way. Yoga is not so linear where you say
Yeah.
only if you do this, then you do this. It's not like that at all. The whole the whole point of asana, pranayama, and following the yama niyamas, which you've explained already, but I'll just very quickly mention, is it's very practical. The whole point, ultimate aim of yoga practices is actually to go into deep meditation to experience our true nature. And asana, pranayama, and all these techniques are tools for us to experience a better, kind of better state of meditative awareness.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm.
we live inside our body. Our body is our home, and we carry it with us everywhere. So if you need a good house to live in, you need a functional house to live in. And if your body doesn't support you, if your mind doesn't support you, if your breath doesn't support you, then pretty much we can't do anything.
Correct.
And what happens is a lot of people are extremely good at meditation, but somewhere they have not probably necessarily looked into their physical health as much.
Right.
So the
Right.
body gives in, the body becomes stiff with age or with any illnesses. It's not really taken care of. One of the other things that I think, especially in Indian society, I think it's our mindset. It's gone deep into our psychology. Is this body is of no use. This a lot of spiritual practitioners in
Yes,
the
yes,
in the
yes.
olden days, this is, we are not this body. The body is of no use. Why should I focus on the body? So a lot of people just give up on the body. A
Correct.
lot of people don't pay attention because if they say that, okay, this is not important, and that if you're focusing so much on the body, that means you're not spiritual enough. So what has happened is there has been a lot of shaming, sort of guilt
Yeah,
associated to taking care of the body. And rather, I would like to focus more on the Raj Yoga, the advanced side of yoga.
My
But the
soul.
point is, exactly. But the point is, unless your body can support you, that will not really happen as effectively, because somewhere what will happen is your body will drag you down. So at some stage, your body, you'll be meditating, and something will pain you here, will trouble you there, and body may not support you. So that's why Patanjali, he devised this beautiful practical system where he said, let us create all these tools so that this becomes more easy. So for someone like you, Ash, if you're an advanced meditator already, asana pranayama will actually help you go deeper in the practice. It will really, whatever is probably whatever little bit may be lacking in that practice, it will kind of give you that support, so you can go even further.
Sure, and that's really a great realization for me. And I think that's where these knowledge sharings really help us, because now that I know it from a yogic perspective after talking to you, I can apply it in a very different manner. Because when I come from an energy healing background, a thought about the overall dhyana or meditation is very different. When I facilitate my students in a meditation class every week, it's a very different kind of an approach. But now I know that, okay, well, with asana pranayama, things can definitely go well. So that point is definitely noted, and I think that is what my next target is going to be, to deepen my practice more, along with along with the concentration and meditation, going a little bit into the postures and the breathing as well, because that is what will definitely create a good foundation for it.
Absolutely. And let me say, you're doing great. I'm seeing you in the classes that we do on Sundays, and you're already doing great at it.
Thank you.
So
happy
I
to
think
know
you're
that.
already on the.
Thank you for being such a great teacher. So I should also say that for sure. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine. Ash, should we also quickly give people an idea about what dhyana actually is? Because
Yes,
we have
please.
talked about
Yes,
dhyana.
please. Yes, please.
So
Happy to.
let us also just give a very brief introduction about what dhyana is. So the last video was about dharana, where we talked about practicing one-pointed focus concentration. So dharana leads to dhyana, right? So I'll give a very beautiful quote by Swami Shivananda on dhyana. I learned from his lineage, so I really value what he says about dhyana. He says dhyana or meditation is in the keeping up of the flow of one idea with a continuity as unbroken as the flow of oil. So just as a visual, when you pour oil into a cup, the oil that falls is falling in a continuous stream. It's smooth and it falls in a beautiful continuous stream. So that is how dhyana is considered to be, where it flows that smoothly in one stream. If you pour water in the same cup, the water flows differently. The water will break.
It will break, yes.
It will break. It will not fall in the same way as oil will fall. So you can say that dharana is like the fall of the water, and dhyana is like the fall of the oil.
Beautiful. So well explained. I can visualize, and I think that gives me more clarity on exactly on what it is.
It's just there is a smoothness in the way it flows, and that is what meditation is. There is a smoothness in the quality, and you know that then you're already transitioned into the stage of dhyana. And even B.K. Iyengar actually has a very interesting point to make here. It's obviously very similar to Swami Shivananda. He says that when the flow of concentration is uninterrupted, the state that arises is dhyana. So just to make it very simple for our audience, let's say I'm sitting in meditation. It has been my experience also. If I'm sitting in meditation, I sit and I start focusing on my breath, right? And then I'm breathing and my breath slows down. Then suddenly I have a thought, oh, about my project in the office, I forgot to send that email to my colleague. Then I realize it and I bring that thought back. Then I'm focusing on my breath. Then after some time, again, there's a thought that comes, oh, I wonder what food will be there today. I haven't prepared anything. Should we order some takeout? And then again, I realize it and I bring that thought back. Then another thought will come about, oh, my salary has not been credited to my account yet. When will that happen? It's already been 2 days overdue. Then again, you realize, you bring it back. And then you have another thought about your family. Somebody, your kid, your wife, your husband, your parent, your sister, brother, whatever. And then you have all these different streams of thought. Could be something as random as what's happening today on what is happening in the US elections today, for
Yes, I
example.
know.
You know, so
Totally.
and throughout you keep bringing back these strands of thought to focus on your breath. So when you're doing that, you're actually doing dharana. You're practicing dharana. You're practicing concentration. But what happens when that distraction starts slowing down? That distraction starts getting more spaced out. So for a longer duration, you're able to focus on your breath. When that happens, when those distractions start petering off and reducing, and you keep extending your focus on your breath for a longer and longer duration without getting distracted, then you can say that you have transitioned to dhyana. That is when
Beautiful.
dhyana happens.
Very, very well
So just
explained. And I'm sure a lot of my students who are watching it, especially the meditation class students, will now actually get an understanding that how we transition from dharana to dhyana. And as you said, yes, thoughts keep coming, and that is like most of the times when students begin a meditation class, they say, initially I used to have a lot of thoughts, but now I'm more steady. And that's the power of practice. And
correct.
that's the power of,
Exactly.
yeah,
Clearly, it's the power of practice, and meditation is something that comes with practice.
totally.
It is something that comes with practice, and it is something that it's not it should not be done as a fad. It should not be done because oh, it's so cool to say I'm meditating. It's actually it's a priceless practice. If you cultivate it,
Absolutely.
it'll be like your best friend for your life.
Absolutely.
So
And Deepa, that's the reason I tell my students that always make sure you practice at a particular time, making sure your
yes,
environment is clean, making sure you set that time aside. You probably set your phone off or put it on an airplane mode, no distractions. Maybe keep a journal with you and do it every day, even if, because for me, I
yeah,
always have believed that if I've had sometimes we are human beings and we are going through some kind of upheaval in life, and I feel if you can go back
right.
to your mat and find that peace when you just focus on your breath and staying aligned to the moment, that can definitely help you. It just changes your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that note, Ash, what you rightly said, I think we can also probably share some tips to people who are just starting on their meditation journey on how
Sure,
to
sure.
meditate. Very quickly, I've done a whole video on beginner's guide to meditation, which is there on my
Wow.
Instagram page. If
Superb.
people scroll down, they should be able to see that video, and maybe we can just create a link to it in our social
Sure,
media
sure. So,
post.
we will do that in this post itself. So, all of you, we will be sharing the link to that post from Deepa about the
Yeah.
meditation, beginners meditation. So, please find it, click the link below on Instagram to find that video.
And Ash, in that video again, whatever is mentioned there, whatever you said just now, the same thing I've mentioned where, it's
Wow.
important. There are like 8 steps where you start with the time of the day, you set the time of the day, you set the location, you make sure that your location is clean and tidy, it has the right vibrations, you don't change your location.
Yeah.
The place that you sit on, you don't let anyone else sit on it.
Yes.
You know, so basically you create a very sacred space for your meditation, and then there are other pointers also to treat meditation as a very sacred practice, and only then people will realize, okay, this is something that you can't just come and sit and then wonder, I'm not meditating. There is a method to it,
Yes.
and if you follow that method, it becomes easier.
And even, whenever there are meditation classes, I always tell my students, be on time, be a little early. Because in the first few
Correct.
minutes, we just, we begin with the pratyahara. And, now that I know, we tell them to
Yeah.
focus within, maybe many times I burn candles or, burn a camphor stick to create that aroma, to purify the vibes of the place. Or maybe keeping flowers
Right.
and, creating that beautiful ambience if it's an in-person class.
Yes.
Even for online classes, I tell people that treat it as if you are doing an in-person class. Dress in such a manner that you are comfortable. Make sure you have washed your hands, wash your face, and you select a time, you select a spot, and treat that thing as a sacred practice. And
Yes.
it totally changes your life.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I think the ultimate, we are now, the practice of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, these three actually considered to be together. So we break it
Hmm.
up to dharana, dhyana, samadhi, but actually even pratyahara, you can even pull that in.
Yes.
Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all of that, you know, it's like they are not separate from each other. In fact, dharana, dhyana, samadhi itself, these three are clubbed together to call samyama.
Hmm.
And they say that one is not separate from the other. Only when you practice dharana correctly, you fall into meditation. You don't do meditation, you fall into meditation.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then when you fall into meditation, then that takes you deeper into a state of samadhi where the subject object differentiation disappears. And then that is
You
another
become
story.
that.
That's a different journey altogether. Exactly.
You become that. You
So,
become the universe. You become the consciousness. And of course, there is
right.
there is so much to learn and explore on this. And I think, as I always say, that in our short videos, obviously we are not able to explain everything, but of course, like I really like the way you put things so clearly, made it so crystal clear, Deepa, that people now actually know what is a good meditation practice. And this episode is definitely going to be very special to me, because being a meditation teacher, there are so many students who say, I've never meditated in my life. How do I begin with? And the
Yeah.
whole concept of pratyahara and then dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, and as you said, you fall into meditation. This whole concept itself can really give someone like me a lot of insight. And if I can read and study on this more, I'll definitely be able to add this to my own practice, and also I'll be able to add it to when I facilitate my students, so that we all definitely learn something more from this. So
Right.
that was brilliant. Thank you so much for making things so simple and so crystal clear
Thank you,
for us.
Ash, for sharing as well.
And of course,
Thank you.
we
Thank you for creating this platform.
happy to do that. And I think I enjoyed every episode of this. And now that we are almost coming to end of it,
True.
we have one more video left, which will be on samadhi, which I'm of course looking forward to. It will be like
Yes.
the last part of the eight limbs of Maharishi Patanjali's yoga. But today's episode 2 was quite an it gave me a lot of clarity. So thank you once again, and all our viewers. I hope you like this episode, or as much as we enjoyed shooting it, and as much as we enjoyed conversing with each other, and as much there is so much which I've learned from Deepa in the past 8 episodes, and I'm really more than happy to share that with you all. And all I can say
Likewise.
is
Likewise.
thank you, Deepa. And all I can say is please share it with as many people as you can, because this knowledge, which is ancient, which is more than 2000, 3000 year old, I really hope that people get to learn more about it, read more about it. And one of my students, Deepa, was telling me that I binge watched all your yoga videos. And I was like, wow, that was really a very cute way to put it across. So she said, I watched the first one
Wow.
and I binge watched all. So I said, okay, there are two more which are coming up. Um,
So cute.
so I hope
I
you
feel like
all
a Netflix star now.
totally. So do I. So do I. Totally happy, and I feel it. Even if it really contributes to people's lives, how does it get even better
Yeah,
than that? As I always say. So,
absolutely.
friends, if you would like to follow Deepa, please follow her on her Instagram handle, which is Deepa. You can follow us on our Instagram handle, unicorn underscore insight. Our Facebook page is Unicorn Insight, is our corporate Facebook page or the company Facebook page. My personal Facebook page is Ashwini Chube Official. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, please, please, please like, share, subscribe. We would really love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. We will see you in the last episode, which will be next week. Samadhi. Till then, here is lots and lots and lots of love and light from me and my dear friend Deepa, who is a Sivananda lineage yoga teacher, a dear friend, and a beautiful soul, so much full of knowledge. I'm really happy to have her. So, thank you very much, Deepa, and thank you very much, all of our audience. We take your leave on this note, sending you lots of love. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste.